welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down the 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. And then don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my lock of the night. Last night, Kelly Oubre going out there and having a good game for sure. Lock of the night. Definitely had the fire next to his name on DraftKings at the end of the night, so you always like to see that. Looking to keep it rolling tonight with the lock of the night and overall the picks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. First game on the slate, we got Toronto taking on Cleveland. This game right now comes in with a 217 over under 2.5 point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. So expected to be a very slow paced game, but it is expected to stay close. And we do have some injuries on the Toronto side and the Cleveland side that could make some usage bumps all around on the team. Kyle Lowry is listed as questionable. If he does return, that's going to hurt some of the guys that we have been seeing a lot more production out of on the Toronto side. But if he continues to be out, look for guys like OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., Flynn, and Pascal Siakam to continue to carry the team. Now, while this isn't the most friendly environment, these guys just play so many minutes that I tend to not really care, and I think they can still get there at their respective price tags. Chris Boucher at 6'8", really having a big game last time out, career game, putting up 69.75 DraftKings points. Did get a price bump all the way up to 6'8" because of it, which is a little scary, but we know Chris Boucher's production, he can really get you there in a hurry. OG Anunoby at 6'6", I think continues to be a great play, and as mentioned, Gary Trent Jr. and Flynn, we know where all the minutes are going on this Toronto side, so if there is no Kyle Lowry, look for these guys to continue to play a bunch of minutes. And I have no issues really playing any of them just because of how many minutes they're playing and how much they're being relied on. On the Cleveland side, we got Colin Sexton, Darius Garland continuing to be the top two plays, and they're priced up on their team for a good reason. And then Kevin Love, if he's continuing to see a bunch of minutes, or his minutes climb, I should say, we're going to continually increase our interest in him as well. And outside of that, on the Cleveland side, it gets a little bit scary pretty quick. Kevin Love only playing like low 20s to mid 20 minutes, but his production has been very good, putting up 40 DraftKings points last time out at 5'8". He is up to 6'1" now, but then once you get past him, you got Hartenstein, Dean Wade, Taurean Prince. Isaiah Hartenstein would probably be my favorite of the bunch. He continues to play upper 20 minutes, so at 5K, I have no issues with going him. But Dean Wade, Taurean Prince, Okoro, once you get down to these guys, I'm a little bit more dicey on them. At their respective price tags and how they produce fantasy points per minute. The Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Brooklyn Nets, second game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 228 over under with an 11.5 point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn expected to win this one fairly easily. There is no James Harden. There is no Anthony Davis or LeBron James on the Los Angeles Lakers side, and Kyle Kuzma is listed as questionable. If Kyle Kuzma is back, we're going to like him a lot in this one. If he continues to be out, look to play guys on the Los Angeles Lakers side like a Dennis Schroeder, Andre Drummond, Montrezl Harrell. Specifically those three, and Dennis Schroeder specifically going to be relied on very heavily and in a great environment taking on this Brooklyn squad that is not good defensively. Same rule applies for Andre Drummond, same rule applies for Montrezl Harrell off the bench. Both guys can put up points in a hurry, so like both of those guys, Andre Drummond at 6'5" is only 500 more. You tend to lean towards him, but have no issues with either of them. And then Markieff Morris is going to continue to see a bunch of minutes as well. If there is no Kyle Kuzma, have no issues with going to him. And Marc Gasol is listed as questionable, so that could give him even more minutes, as well as a guy like a Wesley Matthews. That could give him some more minutes as well. Playing 28 minutes last time out can definitely get you there at his price tag at 3.4. On the Brooklyn side, it's going to be Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving that are going to be relied on very heavily. Kevin Durant only playing 19 minutes in his return. So being somewhat limited, it's a little hard to pay 9-1 for him until we know he's really a full go, and I have a hard time seeing him be a full go in only his second game. Kyrie Irving's priced up a little bit too much for my liking at 10-4, with KD being back, and then we have all these Brooklyn guys in the rotation: Joe Harris, LaMarcus Aldridge, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown. A little too spread thin for my liking. Joe Harris would probably be my favorite of the bunch, based upon the fact that there is no James Harden. I think he gets some more shots. LaMarcus Aldridge can really produce at a good rate. You got Blake Griffin at 4.7, but I think you're getting a little too cute going to these guys, honestly. I'd rather just stick to maybe the Stars or fade the game overall as far as the Brooklyn side of things. More interested on the Lakers side. Sacramento taking on Utah, third game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 231 over under with a 12.5 point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Utah are very heavy favorites in this one. which is a little surprising to me. Like, Utah is obviously a better team, but Sacramento is fully healthy. I think they can put up a fight in this one, and I don't really think it's going to turn into a blowout. There's a possibility. I mean, Vegas is very good at what they do, but I have no issues with you playing guys on the Sacramento side, guys like Durant, Fox, Rashawn Holmes, Harrison Barnes, all playing a lot of minutes and all being relied on to keep their teams in the game, keep their team in the game. So I really don't have an issue with stacking up this game because the Sacramento side is very bad defensively, so I'm definitely going to like Utah, but I tend to think that Sacramento can score enough as well to stay in the game. And if that's the case, then you could have a nice little game stack here, running it back, playing like a De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell against each other, and having the game stay close, and both these guys really reaching their ceilings. So definitely going to like Donovan Mitchell. And then I have no issues with you playing Mike Conley. Jordan Clarkson is listed as questionable. If Clarkson's out, that's just going to help Conley's case even more, as well as a guy like a Joe Ingles. And he is considered doubtful. So I like Joe Ingles a lot more than I typically would in this spot for that reason. And I like Bogdanovich a lot more than I typically would. These two guys at 5'4" and 5'1", where there being no Jordan Clarkson, I think there could be more shots going their way. And definitely have some interest in them in this one. And like I said, don't be afraid to run it back with some Sacramento options. Philadelphia taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. This game right now comes in with a 219 over-under 11.5 point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. Once again, a game that's expected to be a blowout. Not even close in this one, and for good reason, because Oklahoma City is really hurting. No Baisley, no Roby, no Dort possibly in this one. If those guys all continue to be out, look to Moses Brown, Pokusevski, all these guys that continue to see big minutes, and I will have a lot of interest in them taking on this Philadelphia squad. Even though it might turn into a blowout, they're going to be relied on to play a lot of minutes. Kenrich Williams, Theo Maudon, a little less interest in those two guys based upon how they produce. I mean, Kenrich Williams would be my favorite of the two. He has put up 36 DraftKings points in back-to-back games. Not bad at all. Maudon, on the other hand, a little bit more sketchy as far as his production. Don't get me wrong, he can get you there. I have no issues with playing him in tournaments, but reserving him at my point guard position is a little scary to me. He's only a point guard eligible on DraftKings. I'd rather play a guy like a Svi Mikhailuk at 5'2". You can play the shooting guard or small forward position, and I think he just has more upside, so I'd be looking there. And then as far as on the Philadelphia side, Joel Embiid is listed as questionable in this one. If he's out, which it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's out, because they tend to be very careful with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris are going to get big usage bumps, and you could also be looking to a guy like a Dwight Howard. My favorites would be Tobias Harris at 8-1. If there is no Joel Embiid in this one, I'm going to like Tobias Harris a lot more than I do right now, so definitely keep an eye on that one. Houston taking on Golden State. This game right now comes in with a 228 over-under, 9-point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry is priced all the way up to 10-1, and looking at his recent production, he has been putting up right around 50 DraftKings points a game, so good production out of him, but priced way up at this point. It's a little scary to be going there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Stephen Curry. He can get you there, but price tag's kind of starting to outweigh the production. You're gonna need 60-plus DraftKings points out of him, which is he capable? Of course he's capable. It's Stephen Curry. But just know what you're getting or what you're expecting when you're paying up for a guy like that. Christian Wood, John Wall, healthy now, coming back in this one. I do think that this game can stay close because of it, and it's going to stay close because of these guys. John Wall, Christian Wood are my two top options on the Houston side for sure. John Wall putting up 56 DraftKings points in his return against Dallas. And I think he continues to keep it rolling in this one, taking on Golden State. They don't really scare me defensively. Kevin Porter Jr., the third option at 6'9". I really like these pay-up options. Not really looking at any value on the Houston side outside of Kelly Olynyk at 6'2", which, can you even call him value? I don't know. Price in the mid-6K range, but 45, 30, 46, and 30 DraftKings points the last 4 times out. Really producing at a high rate. And I think this is a great matchup for him, so I have no issues with you going to him. And then, of course, on the Golden State side, if you're going to anyone else, it's going to be Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre. I would prioritize them as Kelly Oubre 1, Draymond Green 2, and Andrew Wiggins 3. So I have no issues with playing those 3 guys, and like I said, that would be the order that I am prioritizing them in. Andrew Wiggins did have a pretty good game last time up. Overall, he's just kind of been taking a backseat as far as usage is concerned. And that game was against Washington, so I tend to think he's probably going to have more of a mediocre game in this one. No issues with you playing him, but just that would be my take there. Detroit taking on Portland, 10 o'clock game. This game right now comes in with a 224 over-under, 11.5 point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. Another game that's expected to be kind of a blowout. You're noticing a trend on this slate. I have a feeling the tournament winners are going to be People that guess the game script of these games, which games turn into blowouts, which games don't. Right now, we got Jeremiah Grant listed as questionable, Mason Plumlee listed as questionable. That is very relevant news. If both of these guys are out, we're going to like guys like Diallo, Sadiq Bey a lot more, Isaiah Stewart. But Detroit continues to spread their minutes really thin. So it's kind of scary going to any of these guys, to be honest, right now. Isaiah Stewart played 33 minutes last time. I put up 42 DraftKings points. If he continues to play that amount of run, I'm going to really, really like him. And then, yeah, I mean, as far as solidified run, Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Hadik Diallo, you would think we're getting the most minutes, but Josh Jackson continues to be limited. And it's just kind of scary going to those guys. And then on the Portland side, you got Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum continuing to be, number 1 and number 2 as far as usage is concerned, playing lots of minutes. The only problem is whether this game turns into a blowout and whether they really push their minutes. I mean, CJ McCollum, I do like at 7-7. Damian Lillard, I think, is priced up a little too much for my liking in this particular game. But CJ McCollum, I definitely like, and then you can play Robert Covington, Norman Powell, the next two guys right up, playing a bunch of minutes and can definitely produce at a high rate. So those would be the guys I'm really looking to on the Portland side, as well as Enes Kanter. There continues to be no Nurkic. At only 5'9", Enes Kanter can get there in a hurry. Have no issues with you playing him in this one. Washington taking on Phoenix last game on the slate. This game right now comes in with a 229 over-under, and once again an 11.5 point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix expected to win this one pretty easily. We do have a little bit of a revenge narrative. I was just talking about playing Kelly Oubre last night. He was my lock of the night because of not solely because of the revenge narrative, but he had a revenge narrative taking on his former team in the Washington Wizards. Now we have another situation here where, I'm not sure that I'm really looking to go to too much in this game because of the fact that it might turn into a blowout and the fact that Phoenix is very good defensively and the fact that Bradley Beal has been back playing next to Westbrook. It's going to somewhat limit him. Beal is listed as questionable in this one, so there's possibility he's out. Then I'll like Russ a lot more, but the Phoenix defense is just really good. I would be going to Chris Paul, Devin Booker on the Phoenix side for sure. I think Devin Booker in particular is a guy I haven't been playing a lot, but in this particular matchup could really get some buckets. So I like him. DeAndre Ayton and Rui Hachimura at 6'7" apiece. I have no issues with playing both of them. And I definitely would lean towards playing more guys on the Phoenix side in this one. And then if I'm running it back, you have to play Russell Westbrook if you really want the game to stay close. So that would be the strategy I would take there. And that's kind of the only way you can really approach it because that's how the game will stay close. So that is my overall breakdown of this 7-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be John Wall, taking on this Golden State squad and only priced at 7-9. We saw him return last time out and play 34 minutes. I think he's good to go, fully rested up and ready to make a run at things again. 31 real-life points, 56 DraftKings points. He was priced to 8-1. He got priced down to 7-9, which I'm not quite sure why. But he's in a great position here taking on this Golden State team. Expect him to play mid-30 minutes, and with his production per minute, really like him at this particular price tag. And John Wall is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. John Wall, get him in your lineups, and that is all for me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you can please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.